it's just lighthearted humor. You don't have to think about it too hard. It's not like overtly offensive, like they're not just trying to piss you off, but they might still, and I think they do it well. It's very balanced. Hello, hello. How's it going? I hope everyone's day and week have been amazing. I hope your month is ending on a high note. If not, don't worry, there is still time for it to get better, so don't lose hope. My name is Douglas, and if you're new here, I'm so glad to have you joining my space. If this is your, 50th time here, hey, welcome back. Glad to see you. Today, I'd like to talk about the best TV shows to watch when you need a laugh. Look, life is tough, okay? There's, like 8 wars going on, you broke maybe you just got dumped, I don't know, maybe your job sucks, I have no idea. But sometimes you just need a laugh. Sometimes you just need to have entertainment for entertainment's sake. You just need to enjoy yourself, just to enjoy yourself with not a lot of real stakes, not a lot of, anything on the line. You just need to have, a lighthearted time. So I wanted to bring you some of my picks for just the best things to watch when you're in that mindset. Trust me, I feel you. I get there a lot. Sometimes I'm there, currently, sometimes you just need some levity. Sometimes you don't want to think too hard about the thing it is that you're consuming. And so I wanted to bring you some of my picks for that. So yeah. Now you're gonna notice a mixture of cartoons. These are some live action stuff. There's gonna be some things on there you probably expect to see on a list, some things you might not be expecting. And as always, I'm always open to suggestions on things I could add in a subsequent list. So maybe let's talk about it. All right, so we're talking about the best TV shows to watch when you just need a laugh, when you just need to unwind. All right, so number one, my personal favorite is American Dad. All right, so American Dad stars the Smith family, and they are just bonkers. Now, I know a lot of people love American Dad for one specific character. His name is Roger. He's an alien. I don't have time to explain it, but I'm telling you, all of these characters have such dynamic range. It's not even funny. Oh my God, Stan Smith he'll learn a lesson and then completely forget the lesson by the next episode. But his motivations are so motivated. His motivations are motivated. His actions are so motivated by his own childhood trauma that he just never addresses it. He never goes to therapy. But his family sticks beside him because they're all as equally, or if not more crazy than he is. Francine, the wife, she's a murderer. She's literally a murderer. She is a thug. She's a gangster. It is so wonderful seeing the hijinks that they get into, and you just never have to think about it too hard because it's so just not grounded in reality. This is the fakest of fake shows as you can get. I just think it's a great show, and it's a cartoon, so there's really no stakes. It's really just a lighthearted, good time. I highly recommend checking out American Dad. It's not like Family Guy, if Family Guy's not your bag, but it's made by, it was started by the same people. It's not made, I don't think, I could be wrong. Please don't roast me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I don't think Seth MacFarlane has any hand in the production of the show anymore. I think he still voices a couple characters like Stan Smith, I think, but I don't know. I don't check the cast listing at the end of each episode. Maybe I should do that more. But you won't regret watching American Dad. It started off really political, but as the show has grown, they've just kind of left more of the overt political themes behind, which I think is a great move for them. So if you're feeling down and you just need a quick laugh, turn on American Dad. You will laugh until you're peeing in your pants. And the story writing, the storytelling's great. The writing is just so amazing. It's honestly the best cartoon on TV right now. It hands down the best cartoon on television. Maybe one of the best TV shows out. It's been on for 17 seasons. It came out in 2005. What shows do you know that have that kind of longevity? You know what I mean? They always are reinventing themselves. They're always coming out with fresh content. It's great. Check it out. It's on Hulu. It's one of the only things Hulu has going for it right now. Okay, so up next, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree, some of you might not, but The Office. I know that a lot of people really are obsessed with this show and they die by it. I'm not obsessed with The Office, but I can, point out its great qualities. It's got a lot of great qualities. It's very funny, well written. It was on for I think 9 seasons, which arguably it should have stopped after season 7. So if you want a good laugh, watch seasons 1 through 5. It doesn't get too preachy. It doesn't feel too the storylines are repetitive between those seasons. 1 through 5, you're gonna have a great time. Specifically specifically, the first season is just so unhinged. Like, Michael Scott would never be I hope you don't have a real boss like Michael Scott. He's abusive, he's a terrorist, but it's funny because it's a TV show. The things he does, the things he gets away with, it would just never fly in the real world. And that's what makes it funny. It's just, you can just lightheartedly be like, haha, okay, that would never really happen. If you identify with the things happening in The Office, maybe don't watch it as a thing to relax and just have a good laugh because it might be triggering. I don't know. But I love The Office just because you identify with a lot of the characters. A lot of people identify with Jim and Pam. I have no idea why. If you identify with Jim and Pam, you might be a terrible person. I don't know. I identify with Dwight. But like, maybe that's just me. It's got a great cast of characters. Daryl Daryl is one of the funniest low-key characters on the whole show. How he responds to Michael is just like so quick-witted and dry. And you just gotta play along with Michael. You just gotta play the game and you get what you want sometimes. But he doesn't learn lessons and he's very inconsiderate. Michael Scott's a lot like, well, I'm not gonna name any past political presidential figures, but he's a lot like people you see in the news, I'll just say that, but in real time. So anyways, watch The Office if you just need a good laugh, to just zone out and not think about it. No stakes. Now, stay away after season 5 because it gets a little more serious and then like the themes kind of repeat themselves and it just kind of gets a little weird after a certain point, especially after Michael leaves. Once Michael leaves, if you want to stick around for Plop and all them, fine, go for it, but it just gets a little weird. And then they also try to turn Andy into Michael Scott toward the later seasons and it's just it doesn't work for me in my opinion. But watch The Office if you just need a good laugh. All right, so this next one will make my wife very happy. If you need a good laugh and you just want to not think about it, Gilmore Girls. Anytime my wife's watching the show, I don't ever start off by watching it. I'm always just like not paying attention. And by the end of the series, I'm like heavily invested. That was the case with Gilmore Girls. Just seeing Lorelai just kind of like not pass on her generational trauma, but doing it anyway with Rory, and Rory just making bad decision after bad decision, and she keeps what's the dude, her ex, that she just can't leave alone even when he's like engaged to somebody else. I don't know. It's a nice time to just like pop some popcorn and just think, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that these people A, aren't real, and B, this isn't my life. If your life is anything like Gilmore Girls, go to therapy immediately because I promise you need it. I promise. Gilmore Girls is great for a good laugh. That whole town is just bonkers. It's like if the town of South Park, but they were real people. That's the town of Gilmore Girls. I don't know. Also, I think the set is the same set that's used in WandaVision. If you're a Marvel fan, there's some like very similar locale. That's off. I don't even know where that came from. But Gilmore Girls is a great show just to watch, to zone out. Not a lot of stakes, no real stakes. Like, it's unrealistic. Like, it's so cartoonish that you're like, oh, okay, this would never really happen. Clearly, the good decision is right here, but they're going to make the opposite decision for entertainment's sake. They always introduce a problem for entertainment, and it's clear that that's what's happening, so you don't really have to think about it too much. So, Gilmore Girls. If you're heavily stressed out, though, I wouldn't watch it because it is kind of stressful. I was stressed out watching it. My wife didn't have that same problem. Okay, so speaking of funny cartoons, honestly, I think Family Guy is a great show to watch if you just need to zone out and enjoy some good laughs. Now listen, is it offensive? Yes. Is it hilarious? Yes. Don't watch it if... Honestly, you just gotta have to have a thick skin if you want to watch Family Guy. If you like Family Guy, you probably like South Park, and I think it's kind of a similar thing. South Park's a little preachy for me, so Family Guy definitely is not as preachy. They have some preachy episodes, but overall, you can really zone out. Especially seasons 1 through 4, and then now the later seasons, like seasons like 19 through 21, I think they're on. Those are great because it's just lighthearted humor. You don't have to think about it too hard. It's not like overtly offensive, like they're not just trying to piss you off, but they might still, and I think they do it well. It's very balanced. I like Family Guy because it's also just unrealistic. Peter Griffin, if he existed, would have died 20 years ago because he's so stupid. But you just kind of laugh at it because it's a cartoon. So Family Guy is a great show to watch when you just need a good pick-me-up, a good laugh, and you don't want to think about it too hard. It's also a good show to have on in the background, too. Like if you're having a conversation or you have guests over, they can kind of like nonchalantly, passively interact with it, but keep the conversation going in real time, too. That's a great show for that purpose specifically. All right, coming up, another great show if you just need a good laugh. Very similar to The Office, but Parks and Rec. Parks and Recreation is one of the greatest TV shows that's ever come out. The townspeople are just so outrageously bizarre. Leslie Knope tries her hardest, but she does too much all the time. Ann Perkins is that best friend you really wish you had. Chris Traeger, all of them are just great, well-rounded characters. Ron Swanson is like the Dwight of this show. Everyone remembers him. They remember his lines. He's just memorable. And him and the Tammys, Just the fact that he like he's dated all women named Tammy, and like that's just his. It's just great. It's wonderful. That's a show that you know is just unrealistic. It's just something to enjoy. Leslie Knope definitely wouldn't win any elections if she was a real person, or maybe she might because you know the world is a little nuts right now. But who knows? Parks and Rec is a great show if you just need a good laugh, if you just need to like zone out. I wouldn't have it on in the background because it is very engaging. So you might get distracted actually just watching the show if you're trying to not watch the show, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, finally, the last show I want to talk about is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. When I tell you, this show has had such an evolution. It started off as basically a clone, a ripoff of Seinfeld. Same scenarios, same basic arc structures, episode structures, writing, similar situations and scenarios. Like, they were very similar. But now, in its later years, and I think It's Always Sunny is the longest running live-action sitcom of all time. I think, don't quote me on that, but it's just funny. And you got Danny DeVito on there. You can't beat that. It's wonderful. The writing is wonderful. It's fresh. They reinvent themselves. They make up for past wrongs. Like, they've had episodes that were not very like sensitive to cultural issues, and they've kind of gone back in subsequent episodes and like kind of righted those wrongs. They're great. And the writing staff, Rob McElhenney he's a great guy. He just seems like a good guy. And I just love it. You don't have to think too hard. Watch seasons like one. Well, if you want to watch seasons with Danny DeVito specifically, start off with season 2. That's when he comes in. But seasons 1 through 9 are amazing. They're perfect. They're like such great shows. It does kind of drag a little bit after season 8, season 9-ish. It drags a little, but the writing's still great. You'll still be laughing. You don't have to think about it too hard. That's it for now. What did you think of my list? Were there any shows you wish I would have included that I could include? I'm going to do more videos like this because I don't know. I like to talk about this. There's so many things you can watch and just laugh or feel better, and I kind of maybe want to dive into that a little bit more. But what did you think? Did you agree with the list? Would you add anything? Don't forget, I post new content every Monday and Thursday. I post my TikToks as shorts like every other day. I post music content a couple times a year, so join my community. You'll like it, I hope. You're powerful, you're wonderful, you deserve a laugh, you deserve to enjoy yourself and to be lighthearted. We attract love, light, peace, safety, and security as long as we say we do. Talk to you soon.